Hi, this is Wendy Gunn at yourhomeforgod.com, and I just have a few thoughts on self-discipline. I hope today you are having a lovely day, and I want to encourage you to think about self-discipline as something that is a positive word. You may think of it as a negative word, and you may hate it. However, I have been changed by self-discipline and growing in this area, and I love it because it has changed my life. And so I want to talk about some of the things that have come across or come about because of self-discipline in my life. And I want to encourage you to incorporate some self-discipline in increasing ways. And the key is really in just small incremental changes and progress, not perfectionism. And if you are a procrastinating perfectionist like I have been, I really am talking to you because self-discipline is something that you gain little by little. And it is something that you will grow in. It is not something that you go from none to perfectly self-disciplined. And the people that you watch, and this is a habit of most procrastinating perfectionists and people who hate the word self-discipline, we are looking at everyone around us, and especially those who are super disciplined. They did not get there overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. And so the person who is this fabulous athlete, perhaps, or has the six-pack abs, or is just super in shape, one of those kind of people, they did not arrive there overnight. They had to practice self-discipline at the beginning in little ways, just like you will. And I want to encourage you, start small. If you want to increase the habit and the character quality of self-discipline, and I encourage you to do that. Start small. Figure out what would make the most difference. There's numerous things, ways, or things, targets that you could choose. One of them is to pick the thing that is the biggest weight on your shoulders, the biggest guilt producer. I have learned to remove guilt producers first. And what I love to do is to do a brain dump. I like to write with pen and paper. I love my friction pens, erasable pens, and I use my favorite color, but it doesn't matter. Just get paper and pen or do it on your computer, whatever you want, and write down everything that is on your heart and mind and your to-dos and all the things you do in a week. Write them all down. And you're going to have perhaps pages if you're a busy, busy, busy person. And then get them all out there and then see which ones are weighing heavily on you, and you've been putting them off maybe and putting them off, and when you just write them down, you feel overwhelmed and you feel like you're such a failure because they're not done. What I want to encourage you is to choose one of them, maybe the heaviest one, and just make that your only goal and get that off your list. What I have found oftentimes, that thing didn't take very long to actually get done. But I kept putting it off because it weighed so heavily on my shoulders. And so getting that off the list releases so much pressure, and it may not take very long to get it done. That's one way. That's one path, one way of doing a discipline, is to do a brain dump and then choose one thing, just one habit. Maybe it's getting more sleep. We all tend to, if we're busy, we tend to burn the candle at both ends. I Guilty too. And so maybe you want to go to bed earlier at night. If it's hard to get up in the morning, go to bed earlier at night. But don't suddenly change from going to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning, if you're a real night owl, to going to bed at 9 p.m. Don't set yourself up for failure that way. I encourage you to just set your goal 15 minutes earlier. 15 minutes earlier this week. 15 minutes earlier than your general time that you've been going to bed this last week. And then check the boxes and only, try for maybe 3 nights this week that you're going to get to bed 15 minutes earlier. You're not, if I don't do it perfectly this week, oh, I'm done. I'm a failure. No. Do little bits, little steps and little steps forward. And then if it's getting up in the morning, you can set your alarm. Maybe you can put out your clothes the night before. I have a lot of tips for how to be more organized that help. And I'm reminded with this of my Busy Mom Organized Life workshop. If you haven't gotten that yet, this is a great workshop to help you with this. This will help you so much. Certain activities and things that you do only in 15-minute increments help so very, very much. And you can accomplish so much by just practicing things in 15-minute increments. So I encourage you, spend 15 minutes preparing for the morning ahead. Is it maybe making your coffee the night before, setting it up, and then all you have to do is press the button in the morning? Maybe it's laying out your clothes the night before. Maybe it's laying your kids' clothes out the night before. Maybe it's putting your bag or your purse or your things that you have to take next morning by the door. Maybe it's, and I do definitely encourage you to do this, look at your schedule tomorrow. Look at what you have going on tomorrow. Plan out. If you're not planning your days and writing a schedule, I encourage you to do that. Maybe that. Just choose one though. Do not try to do all of these. Choose one. But I do encourage you to make a schedule and at least know what time you have to leave. And if you're having troubles getting out the door in the morning, and maybe if you don't work from home, if you work outside the home or you have to take your children somewhere and you struggle with a huge rush in the morning, set the time that you're going to leave 15 minutes earlier so that you can avoid that crazy rush right before you have to go. So many things that you can do, and do one, pick one this week, pick another next week, pick a third in 1 month. You will have set up a habit of doing 4 different disciplines. And I think you will see huge progress in your life. And what an encouragement it will be. And also to your kids. It's also, you get so that you're the example. If you start getting ready and you're not rushing at the last minute out the door, your kids will also pick that up and they won't feel the pressure. And it will change morning. Maybe it's getting ready for breakfast the night before. Maybe, I don't know. Do you all sit down at the table? That is a nice practice if you can do it. But set out the dishes. Set out the cereal or whatever you eat the night before. If you can do anything to make the morning easier, it will just change everything. This is Wendy Gunn at yourhomeforgod.com.